Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead. So this is going to be from the 6th to the 12th of January 2025. If you want to book a 2025 read, it's on the website. If you want to book the 6 month, it's on deal. There is career direction readings, love direction readings. Everything is on the website. Like the video, comment, or in so the website is under the video in the description or in the comment section. Okay, so this week we're going to be doing it a bit different. We're going to be doing it as more of a structured read instead of random messages, and I'm enjoying it. So let's take a look. So I just started, but it went off, but we just keep on. So in the self position for yous, there's some self-sabotage. What I'm getting here is some of yous are putting your emotional energy or you're putting your energy into something that is not honest. So the self position and the love position is connected for you because the love position is the Ace of Swords reversed. So what I'm getting here is you're not being honest with yourself, or there's someone around you who's not being honest. And for the Scorpio man, it could be a Gemini woman, but I'm going to say it's a Leo. Queen of Wands reversed, Two of Cups. So if you're dealing with a Leo, if you're cross-watching as a Leo, then you could be dealing with a Scorpio who's all about themselves and is not honest. Okay? But for the Scorpios, there's something to do where there's emotional investment. Now remember, it doesn't just have to be a man. This can be friends. This can be clients. This can be things that we emotionally invest in, things that we give our best to, and they betray us. This is people who come into our life and they just leech the cup dry. They just take and take and take. This is not just, I think we tend to, that's why I want to do it like this, because you get so wrapped up in either career or love. There's something with you where there's something about needing to be honest with yourself. There's something about needing to look at who you're giving your emotional energy to, who you're giving your loyalty to, because it's a new year. And a lot of people, why are we sitting in the dog shit? People we're friends with, jobs we're going to, people we're putting our energy into, fuck boys, which most women don't want. I mean, they can't even fuck. You know? I don't know why they have the title fuck boys, because I've yet to find a fuck boy who can fuck. I said what I said, okay? So, I've had some pretty good cock. I mean, I'll say it frankly. I have had some decent dick. I'm just saying it's not the level I'd like. I think there's better. I mean, is it worth the headache? Probably not. Okay. On a serious note, though, I just think the message for Scorpios this week is like, there's something about giving of yourself and being pure and being genuine, and people just taking the piss out of that. And when we don't love ourselves, that's what we do. The more people take, the more we give them. The more they leech, the more we supply, right? And I feel like yous this week need to really look at who's getting my emotional investment, who's getting my loyalty, what friendships do I need to kind of pull away from now? Because your life's not going to be better just because the fucking clock ticked over. It doesn't mean your life's going to be better. Your life's going to be better based off making new choices, new investments, new friendships, equal give and take. So there's something here about people who are disloyal. And maybe you've been friends with them a long time and it's difficult. But no one's saying you just have to cut them out. But if you could just pull back and pull back and pull back, maybe they'll correct themselves when they feel your presence is gone. Maybe they won't, and it'll fall away over time. For the Scorpio man, there's a woman who's making an absolute mockery of you. This woman thinks you're just a clown. You are money, an open door. She can come back when she wants. She can tell you a sob story. And you're all in. You've bought into that deal, okay? So for some of you Scorpio men, I think your perception of a person isn't the reality. And the Queen of Wands reversed with the Two of Cups this is a lying, cheating whore. I mean, this bitch has no standards. Okay? Now listen, if you're about that, carry on. If you're about somebody who respects you, someone who values you, someone who feeds back into you, someone who cares more than what you can offer them in terms of money, then this has to end, okay? So another message I'm getting is a person who's got emotional problems or alcohol problems. Now, I feel like in the times we live in, alcohol is an anti-suppressant. I know for myself. So you're seeing a lot of people leaning on alcohol now, or they're leaning on shisha. I like it. But what I'm saying is, some of you need to love yourself enough that even though we're all under pressure, we're all in heavy times, I'm not abusing my body. No, right? This is where you clean up your act. You start becoming conscious of what you're eating. If you're drinking too much, if you're smoking too much, we all have what we have. Life is for living, but try to balance it out. Because I am getting someone who's not being honest about an addiction that's getting out of control. Okay? So there's something about self-love. There's something about it's okay to have fun. We're all going to die. You can be the healthiest person in the world. You're still going to fucking die. No one's saying be a saint, right? But just know when it's abuse. Know when you're using it as a coping mechanism. You're using it as a clutch. Because then that means it's getting out of control. So I think a message for Scorpios this week is some of you are lonely. Two of Cups reversed. So you might be using things to cope with the loneliness, okay? What are we seeing for money this week, please? Yeah, so I'm just getting a person who's checking out here. See the Four of Swords with the Hangman reversed. So this can be a person who might have debt. They might have, but they just don't want to confront it. And I understand, we've all been in it. It's like, fuck it. I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'll deal with it next week. No. It's got to be dealt with, right? Like, this is the year where we get up and we say, no, it's time to clean up. No more deflecting, no more putting it off. You know, deal with it step by step. But for me, the Four of Swords can be somebody who, this is a person who's having sleepless nights over money. Because he's lying in the bed and it's just like money is a problem here. This can also be somebody who money is affecting this person's health. This can also be someone who works nights. I think Scorpio this week needs to look at, what am I doing that's sabotaging me? Like, if I keep working this night job, if I keep being in this heavily taxing emotional relationship, if I keep ignoring my financial situation, if I keep ignoring my addictions, what does the future look like for me? Right? And what is the toll that this job, this person, this stress over money is taking on my life, and how it's affecting me happiness, me well-being? Because the Four of Swords person is just exhausted. This guy's just like fucked, like, you know? So for Scorpios this year, I think this week, but it's the start of the year, so we're mentioning the year, you got to restructure. I think people are so busy trying to keep up with the matrix and just survive that they're not seeing, and I know this for me, the toll that it's taken on the mind, the body, the spirit. I don't know about you, but there's days I just get up and I just don't care about breathing. Like, I haven't even got the will to breathe. And that's where you're just being, over time, your biochemical is being taxed, your emotional system is being taxed, your energetic system is just being taxed. And you just feel fucked. So this week you need to sit down and say, okay, I've got to get certain people out of my life, or I've at least got to minimize contact with them. I've got to start getting on top of this debt. I've got to start getting on top of this addiction. I've got to stop being so emotional, right? Because Ace of Cups is the self. It can also be Scorpio this week. You just feel, you burst into tears. with some of the things you're in, you just burst into tears. This is a person who in the self is just feeling like really overwhelmed emotionally. Now, someone who's in your situation, because I am getting different stuff, I'm getting breakups, possibly deaths, illness of some kind, maybe it's family. What you have to do is slowly change things over time. You know, instead of trying to change everything overnight, you've got to say, okay, right, this is a weekly reading. What can I do this week to just slowly turn things around? Just little steps. It doesn't have to be like, volcanic, but it's like, okay, what could I, well, the person who's causing the problems, you could slowly start to pull away. You could take less calls, you could focus on them a bit less. Money wise, you could start researching jobs, even if it's from bed. You get what I'm saying? Right? You could, maybe you're drinking a lot, okay, so this week you would minimize it a bit more. And you just slowly start to make changes, right? And it can make, and I know because I've done it. And also because I'm quite a neurotic personality, so I understand Scorpio, because I've got a Pisces moon and I can be very neurotic. And it's easy when you're a kind of neurotic personality. What I mean is an intense personality. It's easy to lose your balance, because people like us, we're not ruled by the matrix, we're ruled by our emotions, we're ruled by the intensity of things. So it's hard. So no one's saying be perfect, but just try to make more grounded, practical changes this week, because you'll feel better. Okay? But some of you, Scorpio, you're really sabotaging yourself here. You're not being honest with yourself. And the problem with this is when you don't get into power in yourself, it gives people power over you. And I feel like the collective mantra this week is, those who don't dominate will be dominated. That is the mantra. And I feel like there's so many people out here who are sick of that. They're sick of people just dictating, using them, exploiting them. So if you don't want this to be the case, then you have to get up and dominate. Because he who does not dominate will be dominated. Okay? Okay, so let's have a look. So we do have the Ace of Pentacles reversed for career. So some of you are jobless, or the job you're in is just not providing stability. You don't love this job. This is like a job that you just basically get up in the morning, you fall out the fucking bed, you put the uniform on, you probably look at people like they're a piece of shit while you're serving the coffee or you're serving the burgers. Sometimes you want to bounce it off their head, because why are you here? Well, I'm here to buy a coffee because it's a coffee shop. Yeah, but I don't want to be here, so fuck you. It's that type of thing. Right. You know those people who, they don't want to be at the job, and a customer shows up and the people are looking at them like they're an inconvenience, and it's like, I'm pretty sure you're here to do the job. I'm joking, but I'm not. I think some of you are miserable. And when you're miserable, it does no good for you. It does no good for anybody else. You can always tell people who want to be at the job and people who just hate the job, right? They make everyone feel uncomfortable. So some of years, it's about finding your passion. Like I said, start researching jobs, start thinking of a better job. It's okay not to like the job you're in, but why torture yourself by staying there when there's a million other jobs and a million other directions you can go in, the Chariot, okay? I feel like the Chariot this week as well, especially for the Scorpio woman, so this would be a person who writes a CV and then just goes out there and goes into the shops and goes into companies and goes into where the owners are and says, any jobs. So, because some of you are going to come back and say, no, I've been applying to jobs. Yeah, but you've been doing it online. Sometimes it's best to get your CV, dress nice, go out there. Some of my, when I used to work in jobs in the 3D, that's what I would do. I would just go into jobs. I would speak to managers. If they didn't give me a job, I'd go back into a job. So I remember when I was like jobless for ages and I applied to this retail store and I really wanted to work there. And I took my CV in there, I really tried. And one day I was walking past there and I thought, they could have at least told me why they didn't give me the job. And I thought, right, I'm going in. Right. I don't know why I was in this mood this day, but I was like, fuck this. So I walked in and I walked up to the manager and I said, excuse me, I said, I put my CV in here, and I said, like, you could have at least got back to me and told me like there was no jobs, or like you didn't even say anything. And so she just looked at me and she went, have you got a CV now? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, can you give me it? So I give her the CV, and then next minute I walks down the street, 10 minutes, and I got this call. And they said, oh, hi, Elisa, it's the retail job. Can you come in for an interview? And I got a job. The point I'm making is sometimes being a little bit fucking cheeky, riding off your instinct, your gut, calling people out, like, wait there, I came in here, you know. And I think it was because I approached it like that, she actually respected it. So she went straight upstairs, gave the CV to the other managers, and I got called by the time I got to the bus stop. So what I'm saying is, I think with the internet, people have become very complacent with how they approach things, with how they go after things. Sometimes you got to come with a bit of bite, a bit of cockiness, not rudeness, but a bit of cockiness, be direct, go in person. Because you never know, for those watching this who've not got a job, you could get a job by the end of the week by being like that. And maybe it won't be a perfect job, but maybe it'll get you back into the momentum of working, put some extra bag in your pocket, and help you move forward. You know? So some of you Scorpios, you're coming up as kind of lifeless here. You're coming up as kind of depleted, a little bit depressed. And people will just leave you now, they don't care. You know? They will just leave you now, you know, to deteriorate, to rot. And you have to be up, and you have to be self-motivated, and you have to say no. You know, and just getting out there and working can make a fit person feel good instead of just being stuck in a rut. So some of you, that's a message this week. Getting up, taking control. A message for you is like, nobody's manipulating you, nobody's controlling you. You're doing it to yourself. If people are exploiting you, if people are using you, if people are you're doing it to yourself. We need to take accountability. Right, okay, so the obstacles this week are what? You hiding away. You letting other people dominate over you. You allowing other people to have you on an emotional roller coaster, have you all over the place. Virgo's doing this, Leo's doing this. The obstacle is some of you just don't want to deal with the world. And I get it. Right? There's a lot of isolation here. There's a lot of checking out. There's a lot of disassociation. But if you're going to survive, if you're going to thrive, if you're going to be happy, you can't keep disassociating. You've got to go and confront things or people. There's you, the Tower. But I think the Tower is, for the Scorpio man, it's this Leo. Or it's other people, excuse me, who are kind of beating you down, or something you're consumed by. Remember, the devil will send an arrogant person who it's all about them. You better please me. You better go fuck yourself. Okay, I feed you, you feed me. I ain't doing zero-sum games in 2025. Right? I feel like you've got some parasite in your life, that some egotistical person who it's all on their terms. And you're running yourself ragged for these people, or you're running yourself ragged for this person. They don't deserve you, Scorpio. But sometimes you're trauma bonding. Sometimes you've got to get healthy and say, what am I doing? And see people for what they are. It's fine to be someone who's a lover. It's fine to feed into people. It's fine to fight for people and want to make them happy. But there's something about breaking yourself in two for someone who doesn't even love you. I think there's a lot of lonely people, and that's why you need to feed your life with beautiful shit. Animals, good people, your favourite book, your favourite podcast, fitness. Because when you're feeding your life and you're feeding yourself, you don't need... That's what they play on. They play on lonely people, vulnerable people. Right? You got to feed up your life. It's good to have a relationship. It's good to have friends. But you want friends who... You feed them, they feed you. It's a two-way street. Like, it's not... You feel like you can't lose them because they're everything for your happiness. Be careful with Virgo, be careful with Gemini, be careful with Aquarius, be careful with air signs, be careful with Leo though. There's something about loyalty, yeah. Okay, so the outcome is the moon this week, and then the strength card reversed. So some of you are going to keep doing it. This Leo is going to keep running over you, in and out. Some of you are going to stay in the moon. You're going to stay hidden. You're going to be internalizing. You're going to be living in fear. Some of you have got social anxiety. So another message here is I've been in that state where you've isolated yourself for a long time, and then you become scared of the world. And the only way to come out of it is to just go into the world. Right? Some of you are overthinking too much. Some of you might have a lot of anxiety around people. That's why isolating is very dangerous, because what will happen is every time you come into contact with people, you'll have a bad reaction, because you've learned to, your body is protecting itself from what it sees as threat. When you tell yourself the world is a big bad place, the body will then pull into the fetal position, and when you come into contact with the world, it'll go into a stress response. Yes, there's a lot going on in the world, but there is amazing people out here. There's boss jobs, there's boss opportunities, and your job is to go out there and get them, and to walk confidently, and to say, no, I'm not going to be dead before I'm dead. I'm not hiding from life. You know, it's the strength card reversed is also your dark side, where you will stand up to people. You know, I feel like there's so many people who are like, oh, be scared of the world. It's like, maybe the world should be scared of you. Don't test me. Don't test me. Okay? And it's not about going out there looking for fights, but it's about, don't let people keep you isolated. Don't let them stop you from living. Don't let what's going on in the world, like, go out there, start getting out of this isolation, find better people, find things that you love to do. And some of you, this is complete self-sabotage. It's like, you're just living in a fantasy land when it comes to this person. This person is just pissing all over you. You know? So some of you, I think this is about, you just need to learn healthy balance when it comes to relationships, when it comes to, you know? And some of you, I think you're just daydreaming about an ex. Like, you are, some of you, it's a gym trainer. You know? Some of you are in your victimhood. What I mean by a gym trainer is, this is some playboy at the gym. He plays everybody. He wants to be a baller, he wants to be a bachelor, but he wants, 7 bitches at the same time. He thinks he's the Weekend. I only call you at 5 a.m, the only time I'd be by your side. He's going to end up fat, washed out, no one's going to care about him. I'm being serious, Scorpio, like, some of you need to wake up. You need to fall back in love with life, you need to fall back in love with yourself. You need to start seeing that it's an honour to fuck with you. Like, it's a fucking honour for me to invest in you and for me to focus on you. I'm not saying become stupid and start acting like these people who think they're too good for everybody, but start loving yourself enough where it's like, this person has been taken too much and this is where it stops. You know? I think some of you have like codependency, like attachment. You really become consumed by love, and I do it. It's normal. Love is exciting. It's magical. You meet a person and you become consumed, but it's not healthy. Healthy love is where you just love each other and you're excited, but you can pull away and you can stay focused. And otherwise, it's like anything. Excuse me. Too much gym, too much drinking. All toxic, right? Balance this week. And also, if you want the respect of this person, if you ever wanted this person to change, by pulling yourself back and loving yourself more and putting more time into yourself and being less available, that's where this person will learn to change. Same as friendships or people in your life who you feel just leech, like, pull back. They're always telling you they don't need you. Let's see if that's the case when you pull back. You know, it's not about punishing people, it's about loving yourself, valuing yourself. Like I said, if you separate all that for some years, this week is about, I'm getting a person, if I was looking into a person's behaviour, if I was doing a personal read, I'm getting someone who's living very isolated. I'm getting someone who's got an avoidant type personality. They're not dealing with things. I've done that. And I promise you the outcome that comes from it is very bad. I understand sometimes, especially with the times we live in, it's so difficult to live. It takes a lot of energy, but you have not got the time to be disassociating from reality. It's heavy times and you need to be building your bag. You need to be active. You need to be looking after yourself. You need to be preparing for the future. Some of you need to look into new jobs. And some of you, coming back to what I said, you're very isolated, or the job you're doing is really bad for your health. And I think it's time to get out there this week and to find something that is just better. To find a group of people who feel better to be around, a job that feels more rewarding, that's healthier. Because honestly, I mean, I've done it, and I feel like, to finish, that's a message here. Like, some of you are going to a job and there's nothing worse than having to spend hours in a job that you hate to do and you're around people you can't stand, and it's horrible. It really is a form of death. You know, being tired all the time, depleted all the time, it's a form of death. You know, so you need to, I think for some of you Scorpios, especially as the world is going to be heavy for you to deal with, you need to come back to life, and that means you're going to have to put yourself in the right places, you're going to have to put yourself in the right state, you're going to have to put yourself around the right people, changing your music, changing what you're watching, all of it. Because Scorpios are absorbing people, and there's a lot of dark out here. And I think it's really affecting you and it's depleting you. Some of you are making bad choices that are creating dark, they're creating fear. But there was a vision I got of some of you Scorpios. This is not going to be for all you Scorpios, so take it or leave it. But there was a vision I got that this is the week where you just start skipping again. And you build on your confidence. You get out of this isolation. You do one thing, start the gym, go in to ask for a job, and then it kind of builds a bit of confidence, and then you do it again and you do it again. And then before you know it, you're like cocky. But not in a horrible way, in a kind of, look at me. You know, you've gone from barely talking to anybody to you just start talking to random people. Hi. You know, so coming out of like some kind of sedation, dissonance, disconnection. And like I said, some of years I'm going to finish with this, which is, I haven't done a Scorpio read in a while, so I thought I'd really go deep. But some of years it's about, listen, stop getting mad for the people who are draining your cup. Because people can't drain what you don't give them access to, Scorpio. Some of you need to stop playing the victim and take accountability. Same for us all. If you want to book your read, it's in the description or it's in the comment section. Like the video, comment, let me know your personal situation. Just say hi. And yeah, I wish you the best and I'll speak to you soon.